Peter had been out there for weeks on Murray not playing under the $5.5 million. Okay, that's one thing. The challenge is, what do you replace it with? That's where I think they're going to have the impasse. Yeah. And the Cardinals are trying to delay it. I reported in the aftermath of everything on Thursday that they want to take care of him in the summer. Well, Eric Burkhart wants to know if there's going to be an impasse, let's figure it out now. If we're not going to be able to work something out, let's figure it out now so we can come up with some alternative. Instead of the Cardinals just kind of hoping that, if they slow play it long enough, Kyler will just say, okay, fine, I'll play for what you want me to play for. I won't try to get more from you or from someone else. That seems to be what's going on right now, and Burkhart is frustrated. And Kyler, even though if a microphone's in his face, he's going to say all the right things, he's got to be frustrated by it as well, that the Cardinals are dragging their feet on this.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that's going to play around Kyler Murray. I think that's the big thing. And then, too, like, if you're going to take that stance with Arizona and you hear that, like, well, what's the difference, really? Like, maybe you know something I don't. Maybe I've missed something. But, like, what's the difference between doing now and summer? You're just hoping it just tempers down, like you said, to where you just kind of – okay, we calmed it down, and now it's not as urgent, and we don't have to do it now, or what?
Well, because if the Cardinals would offer him between $30 and $35 million a year, and that is just I don't want to say it's like wild guess, but it's informed by the market. We show that graphic all the time that shows the spread between the top 10 quarterbacks. It's like $20 million.
Yeah.
So you got the Cardinals, I would assume, in the range of 30 to 35. You've got Burkhart, who may be looking top of market or beyond, because he's got to be thinking, where's this puck moving? Where's the cap going? Where's the market going? If I do a $45 million a year deal now, am I going to be thinking, God, I left meat on the bone in 2025?
Right.
Yeah, I wrote something yesterday about Russell Wilson's contract, and I started doing the salary cap at 10% increases every year. It gets to $300 million if it increases by 10% a year for the next 4 years. It gets to $300 million by 2026. So you got to be thinking not just where the market is now, but where it's going. The Cardinals are thinking, where does this guy fit in the current market in light of his skill set, injury history? So I think the Cardinals would rather them not reach an impasse at a time when Kyler Murray would have a potentially viable option elsewhere. We get to July or August, as they're getting ready for training camp, who's going to trade for him?
Yeah, that's right. You're definitely limited.
Everybody else's roster's set.
Right.
Now you got the Carolina Panthers. You've got, I don't know, that's the thing, I don't know who else, because I keep hearing what you said weeks ago after the Cardinals lost so badly to the Rams in the playoff game. There are going to be teams out there that would never want Kyler Murray on their roster.
You're hearing that, right. Agree.
No, you said that.
Yeah, I know.
That.
I thought you said you were hearing that too.
I'm not hearing that.
Okay,
no. My point is that's a valid concern here.
Yeah,
this isn't,
for sure.
Hey, Aaron Rodgers may be available.
Exactly.
Go see what you can do to put together an offer to get Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
This is, hey, Kyler Murray may be available. Well, sorry, but Kyler Murray's not our cup of tea. There's going to be a certain portion of the league right out of the gates that says, we're out. So that's going to limit his options.
100%. I think that's we've discussed that a lot, and that to me, I know there's teams out there that are like that. That just period. There's no way a guy that size with those attributes is going to be the quarterback of their football team. There's teams that are going to have him canceled out that way. The Panthers, as crazy as they are for the aggressive nature for their quarterback, they could be a team that is scary here with Kyler Murray and trying to steal him. Definitely. The Seahawks, I don't think that's happening. The Lions, I don't know. Again, it's the New Orleans staff. They're used to maybe the smaller quarterback and get the ball out of his hands quickly. Maybe there'd be some, love there. I don't know either way. But, there's got to be a sweet spot here, I would think, with money. As far as like what you're talking about. But I think the biggest thing here is, one, Kyler Murray, he doesn't seem like the type of guy that's going to play around. And I certainly don't fault him for wanting the new contract. I don't. I understand it. You got to play hardball this day and age in the NFL. It's time to do it. And he's definitely one of the best players on their football team. And he does have some elite qualities about him as a player. But there are question marks. And, Mike, you wrote an article on Thursday or Friday. First off, put up the list there as far as what the quarterbacks are making, guys, Kristen or Courtney, if that's okay. Because, Kyler Murray, first off, this is not Josh Allen. This is not Lamar Jackson. This This is not Patrick Mahomes. This is not like slam dunk, top 5 quarterback. We're going to do whatever we got to do to make this happy guy. I don't think. Mike, you wrote an article the other day about Derek Carr and where he sits in the NFL hierarchy as far as pecking order and quarterbacks. I mean, you look at this list right here. I mean, we're going to put Kyler Murray below Russell Wilson, right? And that group there, I'll put him in front of Jared Goff and Cousins and Wentz. But, I mean, of course, we don't have Herbert and Joe Burrow on that list there either. So then you push him down behind those guys. And my point of what I'm getting to here is I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback in football right now, or he's dancing right around that. He's not to the point where I guess what I'm saying, Mike, is if you're an organization, you just go, we'll do whatever he says and whatever he wants and whatever. Like Mahomes, Allen, you do that for. Well, we're going to make it work. I think there's legitimate questions for Arizona to think about here with this a little bit. I do.
There's an urgency from Murray's perspective that could be driven by the fact that, you know, he's maybe prone to injury. He's not real big. He better get his bag while he can.
Yeah.
Because really, time's on your side. Typically for a quarterback, time's on your side here. And the longer that this goes, you're going to get more guys getting deals. You mentioned Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. Those are going to be more data points that maybe push the market up for Kyler Murray. Russell Wilson's next deal. I saw somebody suggest that the Derek Carr contract is the starting point for Russell Wilson. His agent, Mark Rodgers, is going to laugh at the Derek Carr contract.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson is the starting point for the Russell Wilson contract whenever the next one is done. $46 million a year for 5 years, fully guaranteed. Don't even bother to start the discussion, George Payton, with Mark Rodgers unless you're coming to the table with that as your minimum. I guarantee you, Derek Carr, if you bring up Derek Carr, Mark Rodgers is going to laugh in your face if you're the Denver Broncos.
Right.
So, so you get Wilson's deal. That's enough. You know, so, and we don't know what Lamar Jackson's doing. But if this goes year to year and he ends up forcing his way to free agency like Kirk Cousins, you know, that's an option available to Kyler Murray as well. I just feel like he wants it now, and that's the same reason the Cardinals are hesitant. I'm sure they'd love to give it another year.
I think you're onto something. I think I get the same. I think you have the same feeling I do. I have the feeling that Kyler Murray and their camp is like, wait, I'm small. He's getting injured. We don't want that. Let's get the protection right now. And I also get it to like we were kind of referring to before too of like, wait, maybe not that many teams are really going to like Kyler Murray if it does come down to free agency. So let's get the contract right now. Because I don't think, again, like you laid out pretty perfectly. I think really, like if the slate was clean, there's only a handful of teams in football that are going to want Kyler Murray as a quarterback, period. I don't think, you know, there's just too many old school believe in the size and other things. And, of course, the playoff game that we watched this year, you know, that's going to scare the teams that might have been on the fence. They're going to definitely go off the fence with that one and go, wait. I mean, he looked like, not that he was 5'10" out there, that he looked like he was 4'10" out there in the pocket. I mean, he was getting smothered. He couldn't do anything in the game. He couldn't make any throws with the pressure bearing down and people about to hit him to make a throw down the middle of the field. That's going to scare teams, and I almost feel like the Kyler Murray's camp got scared in itself. It was like, you know, we better get our money now because we don't know where the hell this is going to go. Weird feeling like that.
When you remove the high-end mobility from the equation, that's when he becomes ordinary. And but when you can't pull it down and disappear when that starts to happen, and we don't know how bad the ankle injury was.
Yeah, I know. That's right, too.
But I have a feeling the ankle was still an issue all year long, and I admire the guy for playing through it. He missed some time, and he came back and played. But when you have an opening to run and you're not taking it, that's when you become guy who looks like he's 4'10", even though he's 5'10".
Exactly.
You have to be able to zip away from guys like that when they're closing in on you in the end zone. So I think that's part of the problem. And, Chris, this is where there's some overlap with his very close friend, Baker Mayfield. Because, and I think you and I may have touched on this last week when we were talking about the Mayfield dynamics. I can't remember if we did or we didn't.
Yeah, we did a little.
But Kyler Murray's he's got to be hearing it from Baker Mayfield. Hey, man, you got to protect yourself. Look what I did. I didn't get my contract before my 4th year. I got injured week 2. I played all year. They've crapped on me because, like, I'm all of a sudden a bad quarterback because my shoulder was injured and I couldn't play right, but I kept playing and I didn't make any excuses. And look at what went on with you last year. You injure your ankle week 8 at the end of the game against the Packers. You're never the same the rest of the year.
Yeah.
and they think you suck now because of it, even though it was because you had an injury, you're putting a lot of eggs in that basket to go out there and have a strong fourth season, because if you do get injured at some point along the way, then you're going to be like me in 2023, where you're a man without a country because the Cardinals maybe go out and find somebody else.
Sure. I wouldn't doubt that that's, on his radar that way, or they've had those conversations a little bit, text messages, whatever. How could you not? They're in the same boat together to a degree. So you're always, when you're in that scenario, looking at other guys in the league that are, somewhat similar to you, the situations they're going through, and you try to learn from them. So, yeah, I'm sure that does scare Kyler Murray. It does. Added with the aspect of, again, he's going to look at it and go, wait, I was the number one pick of your football team. We have gotten better as a team. We are like relevant here the last 2 years. Like, they're relevant, even though they went to the playoffs only once in the last 2 years. They were a story throughout the year. We talked about them. So he's going to be able to look at that, and then he's also going to go, wait, in this offense you got and the coach you hired, oh, man, they're all because of me. Oh, gosh, I got you. And that's where he does have power, and that's where it's going to be dicey for Arizona to slow play this and make sure they don't piss him off too much.
That is the ultimate both sides snapshot of America. You can say, wow, Kyler Murray has turned around a crap team that was lost without him, lost in the wilderness without him. Or you can say, Kyler Murray starts strong every year, and then it all falls apart.
Yeah.
The Hail Murray play, the signature moment of his career, the win over the Bills, that throw. He was looking at the sideline when he let go of that ball that became the touchdown pass that beat the Bills. I remember talking to him on the phone after that game. Amazing moment. What happened the rest of the year? Cardinals fell apart. Last year, he's the MVP favorite halfway through the season. Has the ankle injury. They start losing games. Next thing you know, 10-2 becomes had to worry about getting into the playoffs. And then when they got there, they were one and done in an embarrassing way. So, you can say, hey, he's made this team relevant, or you can say, why can't they finish the job?
Right.
So that it makes it hard. It makes it hard to peg the number, and I think the Cardinals are willing to pay him. But remember, we talked a few weeks ago about the Joe Thomas report that the Browns would have paid Baker Mayfield $30 million a year.
Yeah.
And they would have. Well, it was never offered. No, it was never offered because you never sat down to have the conversation, because there's no point having the conversation when Mayfield's at 40 and the Browns are at 30. If they would have had the conversation all the way through to completion, he gets $30 million a year, but he shouldn't have taken it last year. We would have said, if the Browns are willing to pay him 30, we'd have said, Baker, don't take it. We'd have said that. I definitely would have said that.
Yeah.
And so I could see the same thing playing out here. The Cardinals would put a number on the table right now that would be far lower than what Eric Burkhart wants. And how do you get them or someone else to pay more? And that's the other side of it too, Chris. If you're trading for him, you got to give up a bunch of picks to get the Cardinals to even do it. If they would even consider it, you got to give them a bunch of picks, and you got to be willing to pay the guy dramatically more than what the Cardinals are paying him. It's the Tyreek Hill dynamic.
It is.
Like the Dolphins swoop in, they give up all this stuff, and they pay him more than the team that knows him better than anyone will pay him. Okay, Dolphins, hey, fine. If it works for you, more power to you. But you're going to have to find a team that loves Kyler Murray enough to do that.
That's it. And to me, that's where it's a little different. Where if I'm Arizona, business might be open to a degree. It's going to be open. Where I look at it, like with Josh Allen and Mahomes and Herbert and Burrow, I'd go, you can't. We're not. You can't trade. You can't. Can you give me your whole team? Then I'll make the trade, because I'm not trading those guys no matter what. It's just not. Kyler Murray, as good as I think he is, and of course he does have special talents, we do have questions. And I do think that if I was running Arizona, I wouldn't be like I would be if I had Mahomes or Josh Allen. I'd be like, don't even answer the phone. There's no point in ever doing it.
Didn't we do a draft of the untouchable guys not that long ago?
I think we did. You think you read?
Kyler Murray wasn't even a consideration.
I don't think we did either. Exactly. I don't think he was safe. So I would, if Carolina calls you and blows you out of the water, Kyler Murray, hey, we like you, but we're not definitely sold. We're willing to commit $45 million a year for you, the next 5 years. well, then okay, I'm open for business. I don't think this is like a closed, shut door conversation as much as those top guys that we've referred to.
Murray's got 2 years left under contract if, as expected, the Cardinals pick up the 5th-year option. That deadline is coming up in just a couple of weeks. So, he's got a longer path to wherever things would go. And at some point, and he's still got the baseball option. We don't hear that very often, but he does have the baseball option. It's not like he walks into the middle of center field and starts for the Oakland A's right out of the gates. But if he does get exasperated with football, that's something he could always do. And that would be a way to maybe that's why they want to bring it to a head now. Maybe if he's not happy with the bottom line offer that the Cardinals make, he goes and plays baseball. I don't know.
It's out there. It always is. I feel like anytime you read an article about the situation, somebody at least adds that sentence in there. But yeah,
he's the only guy in the NFL with that option.
Yeah, that's right.
To go play another sport at a high level.
Yeah, no, I get it. I understand it, and if I was him, I'd probably use it to threaten my team too, to help me get more security. I understand.
Hey, remember Russell Wilson would do it every spring until he got his contract. Go play second base with the Rangers or whoever it was.
Debo Samuel and A.J. Brown, they'd like to have that option right now and go, hey, I'm not sure if I want to go play wide receiver until you pay me.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.